Hi everybody, I'm Gina, GIA Gemologist with Legacy Jewelry, Appraisers and Buyers. Today we're going to look at all the discoveries that was made in my client's mother's closet. She passed away around 5 weeks ago. Frank had come into my office with what he thought was left of her estate. Sterling silver, we separated it, we separated costume jewelry, and we found some gold in there. And in a previous video, which is attached down below of this video, you can go in there and see what we had found. Frank was overwhelmed and asked me to come to the house and to help him look through the closet and just to see if there was anything of value as far as clothing, shoes. She had a lot of high-end items. While we were there, and this happens quite often, and this is the process that I will show you the outcome of what can be found in an elder's home. For the instance of this home, Christine had all these bags, lots and lots of pouches, and drawers in almost what looked like a file cabinet deep beneath in her closet. And it was a lucite. It was very dense and you really couldn't see through it. And Frank was not a nosy type. He didn't want to pry into his mother's home and into her private things, even though he lived there for 10 years with her. We went together into the closet and we saw that there were many boxes inside, and they were with shoes and you know, beautiful high-end clothing. But as it turned out, deep into the closet is where we found drawers and drawers of jewelry. Now what I'm going to show you is what we had found, and I have here a pile which a lot of it looks like costume jewelry, but what I want you to do is when you actually go through the estates at home for your family, either the elderly or if you have obtained and are there for the inheritance, you have collected the items and you don't know what they are, I want you to go through them and just look carefully. Sterling silver is marked 925, and just by looking here, I can show you that there are several items within this large group of costume jewelry that are all sterling silver. So we can actually put these aside because that's going to be where your value is. We also found in Frank's mother's closet, we found a lot of ivory, and these pieces were all very common back in the 80s and the 90s when they were available to the market here in the United States where they could be sold. So these items, which are not sellable anymore, but do have pieces of gold attached to them, because they have a ban on ivory and they cannot be sold, these items still are very beautiful, and you just need to know to either hold on to them or to actually wait until the market maybe lifts up that they can be resold, or just give them to family members because these are of value. In the gold, or in the large amounts of costume jewelry, Frank's mother also had quite a bit of gold jewelry. And we're going to take a look here at a beautiful ring that you'll see a solitaire, and this is this happens to be a cubic zirconia, but the mounting is gold, so that has value. There also is a gold chain here with a cross, and this of course is valuable, and this is still worth hundreds of dollars. We also found earrings that were made of gold, and that is of value. We also found a butterfly adorned with beautiful emeralds and opals, and this is a very nice resellable piece. And we also found charm bracelets, and these are all full of sterling silver. So we would separate the sterling silver and we would put those into the pile with all the sterling silver. So for the purposes of this estate, I will start separating them to show you what to look for. Here's a cute little looks like a ornate figurine pin. It's marked 925. And this could be a resellable item on eBay or an online store, whereas a lot of the items that are not interesting can be used as scrap gold, as scrap metal, back to the commodity. So you can purchase these items, a dealer can purchase these items for different reasons. After we decide what Frank wants to keep for maybe a family member or for himself, or if the purpose is for him to sell it outright, to take money and to help him move through the estate, and he is the beneficiary, so it's his choice. He also can choose to decide if he wants to resell these items himself. Frank is not interested in doing that. He wants to sell everything, he wants to give it away. The great thing about finding all of these items is helping Frank understand that these are costume jewelry, but also sterling silver and resellable items. So Frank should be given a value on these items that is fair for him and for you as a buyer. So we have, if we're looking at costume jewelry, things that are maybe not resellable, these will be placed into a basket or a bucket over on one section of your groupings, and that would be something for you to consider when you're purchasing these items from Frank, that you would not be paying for these as possible resellable items. The items that you would be looking at as resellable items so that you can put value on it would be your sterling silver, maybe with gemstone. That would be along with the emblem, this little pin here, because these are interesting. These can go back out into the world and people would like those. So we'll put those in that section there. These other bangle bracelets, this is a silver plate. This is not real sterling. So that would be considered costume jewelry. So we can move that over into the costume jewelry section. This one here as well, this has got gemstones. It's actually mother of pearl. It's a pin. It could possibly be a resellable item on eBay. These go for very little. So, you know, when you're looking at purchasing items from an estate, please be aware that you want to be fair. If you do put them online, they probably and may not sell. So you have to be prepared that they go into the donation bucket. This here you can see looks like sterling silver, but it's not. It's silver plate. And the same with this. Sterling silver is not as shiny as this. This is a dead giveaway for items that are costume jewelry, as well as this. When you get to the point when you are really able to separate your buckets, your piles, you can get a good idea of how much money you should actually be paying for these things. In another program, we'll talk about how to test metal with hydrochloric acid, and that will tell you what type of gold it is and what the value is. As a gemologist, I can see that this is gold plated, so we're going to put this in the bucket with costume jewelry. And even though this is very ornate and very Chanel looking, it may be a good sellable item on eBay. We could give that a try and put it in that bucket. This here happens to be a really pretty little black onyx mother of pearl. This is sterling silver. We would put this into the bucket of selling it as an item on eBay. Or it could be one of the other many platforms out there. It doesn't have to be eBay. There's a ton of them out there. This is another item. This is silver plate. It looks like sterling silver, but it's not, even though it's creamier. And so that is sometimes, you know, not a good indication if it's creamy or if it's shiny. You have to look a little further, and there is a way to test this as well. So we'll put that in the possible resell as far as costume jewelry. These are the same thing. These are just some very ornate, cute little, but they're mother of pearl stones. So we'll put those. It's an abalone stone, excuse me. And it continues. You have costume jewelry, many more costume pieces here. And this is costume jewelry. These beads are very interesting. They are all colored blue beads, which would be very popular. They're made of glass, ceramic, and these could be a possible resale. So if you're looking at our piles here, you'll see that the sterling silver is small and the gold pile is small. So we really have to consider by the large group here that this is an item. These are items that we are going to be careful about offering too much of a price for. And remember that most people are going to be looking at your costume jewelry as basically donational. So if you can offer something that would be an honest amount to the estate, then we could give them something that at least they can walk away with that is better than just donating it. We're getting into, this is a sterling silver with black onyx. We can put that in the pile, which will be resale. We're looking at more mother of pearl with cute little sterling earring holders. We can put those in the sterling silver bucket. We can look at, these are definitely going to be giveaways. This is an old paste earring. There's a little baggie in here. These all appear to be sterling silver. We can put that in the silver bucket. These are going into some fashionable silver plates. Those are probably going to just be giveaways. And we're going into many other ones that are kind of falling into that same bucket. We have sterling silver, which we would scrap. Remember, a lot of these online for sterling silver, they're going to go for pretty much what the scrap weight is after you pay the fees and the listing price for you to list these items for your time and effort, and you'll get more money out of just scrapping them because silver is doing so good right now. It's very high in the market. We'll put some more in there, and we'll put that in the costume. Now this is interesting. These have all pieces of little jade, and looks like an ivory elephant. It has a little blue hand-painted flower piece. It has a Buddha. This is definitely resellable. People like unusual things like this. So it may not be sterling silver, but it's definitely resellable. So we'll put that here. And at another video, we'll talk about how to price these items so that you can sell them and still be competitive in the marketplace. And I always like these. They're really hard to sell. They're little costume pins, but animals, fish. They do have a buying market. They might be low, $12, $13, $15. So we'll put those in the resell item. They're in good condition. You want to make sure that your jewelry that you list is in good condition. This is very cute and interesting, and it has a hallmark in the back, so you'll want to look up and see what the hallmark is. Sometimes the hallmark will really dictate whether or not your price that you can get on these pieces will be worth your effort. So we'll put that into the costume. Once again, they're unusual pieces like this crown, very pretty. We'll put that in there. And we're getting down to the end. I see a pair of jade earrings. They seem to be translucent, which I love, and I just did a video on that. The color looks very nice. You can see through them. They're not dense. They've got beautiful color. They're not consistently one color, but the color is nice. So we're going to put those in the resell pile. They don't appear to be gold, but they do appear to have nice emerald, or excuse me, jade. And looking at the end of my pile here, which I'm getting to, oh, here's something really pretty. It's a leopard with black onyx, sterling silver, with a, this feels like it's crystal. It is. And once again, as we talked about in one of our videos, you want to feel it if it feels cold like a stone, or if it feels plastic like a cup. If it's feeling like a stone, then we know if it's cold, then it's a stone. So there's value there. So we'll put that in your to sell pile. Something else that's interesting would be this little fish. This appears to be sterling silver. I wouldn't scrap this right away. I would definitely give it a shot and see if it can be resold. So with that in mind, it looks like we are to the end here. And now we want to come up with some value for Frank. Looking at everything, we see that we have the scrap metal, which is sterling silver. We have this part, which is costume jewelry, which we're going to put up for a few dollars, or maybe sell for 20, or maybe it's going to sell for 10, or maybe it's going to sell for 40, but we don't know. But at some point, if it doesn't sell, we're going to move it over to costume, where we're going to donate it. Then we have a little bit of gold here. And we'll talk later about how to price your gold. But this estate, the way we see it, keeping in mind that costume jewelry is giveaway, you have sterling silver, this ended up being around the $500 range. And so this was a fair price for Frank. He was happy with it. The sterling silver is probably going to bring us maybe around $30 in scrap. We're going to be able to resell this for who knows before it goes into here. We can scrap the metal, which is going to be a couple $100 in scrap. We're going to gift some of the items to that are ivory, or keep them, or give them to the family members. So that's how we came up with our price. And we can hold on to the gold. We can wait till the market increases. We can wait until it, or we can try to put gold items online and sell them. It's always a challenge because there's a lot on the market right now for gold, and gold sometimes does go for just the gold market price, just like sterling silver does. So we're hoping that we could put all these up and maybe make a few $100s out of our investment, and that's going to work for both Frank and for you as you buy these items and you resell them. So once again, it all depends on your different platforms of selling your items, of how you're going to market them. Costume jewelry can be very good profit, depends on what the items are and who's the maker, and that way you do a little research by looking them up online and going from there. And then there's lots of places that need donations. I do a lot for charity over the years. Hundreds of charities always are asking me for donations, and this is a wonderful opportunity to help them raise money. So definitely consider that these are items. There's many groups seeking their annual auctions. So that would be a great thing. With that said, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I really look forward to talking to you about the next estate that somebody's putting together for me right now. His name is Jim, and he lives in, his mother's passed away recently. He's in San Pedro. He just called me, and he's going to be shuffling through her closet next. And remember, these were all found in Frank's mother's closet, deep beneath her closet. And as hard as it is, as hard as it was for Frank to go in because he felt like he was snooping, it is the right thing to do. You have to do it. Mom's gone, and it's time that you move on. So I always encourage my clients to please take those steps, and congratulations that you are taking those steps. The steps to move through pry, get into these bags that, you know, were sitting in the back of the closet, all these pouches, the boxes, and now to finally move her clothes out, bring them to wonderful places that they can be donated to. It is time. So God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. And I hope that you will subscribe to this channel, because there's going to be a lot of wonderful things that I'm going to be talking to you about, as I've had 40 years in this business, and I really look forward to sharing it with you. Take care. God bless.